Designing your Animal Crossing island can be hard. It's something I've struggled with so much, trying to find inspiration and ways to fill the massive amount of space they give us to decorate with. So I thought it'd be a fun idea to go over 10 island ideas that you can use on your own island. These are some of my favorite things that I use around my own island that I really hope you'll enjoy. We've got some interior decorating ideas as well as a whole bunch of exterior decorating ideas involving things like terraforming, custom designs, items, and so much more. So there are options for every type of player here. So leave a like on the video if you're ready for some design ideas, and let's jump into this. We're going to start off with the only interior design idea on the list. This involves gyroids. Now what you might not know is you can cleverly fuse them into other items to make some really cool and unique displays. Sadly you can't do this outdoors, but it's definitely a way to spruce things up and make some cute little design ideas in your home. For example, I'm going to place this bathtub item down in my room, and from there I can select gyroids as a wall item. Once I have done so, I am cleverly able to drag them down into the bathtub, which effectively makes them fuse with it. And you can do this with many different types of items, not just the bathtub. You can put gyroids in all kinds of items, and it genuinely looks like they're just in there, which is really cute. It's a fun way of customizing your items in a way that the game doesn't actually allow, in a sense. It's just kind of a neat little exploit trick, whatever you want to call it, that works really well and allows for some cute decorating ideas within your home. Personally, I find decorating my house in Animal Crossing the absolute hardest, so any clever little ways you can improve things, I will always take. I need to focus more on the interior designing ideas, but here I have a lot for the exterior. Now, one of my favorite design hacks from quite a few years ago is using umbrellas to create these really cool crates. Lots and lots of people designed these absolutely amazing umbrella crates, where if you place them down and rotate them facing forward, you will get a crate illusion. I love the ingenuity of this so much. There are so many different ones as well, and I'm sure there's even more available now. In fact, someone even made a Bob one for me. Please come forward if that was you, because I absolutely love it. Yeah, they're really great. There's so much that you can do with these. It is an illusion, so it's not going to look perfect from every angle, and of course it's not going to look as good as an actual crate, but Nintendo didn't really give us that many crate items in the game, at least not really anything until we got the 2.0 update. So it is fantastic that players came up with this and were able to make so many cool designs. If you Google something like Animal Crossing umbrella crate designs, you should be able to find a ton of design codes for these, so I highly recommend using some of these around your island. They are ingenious and so cool. Next, a lot of people don't seem to realize that you can actually decorate your dock. Now, I don't have any specific ideas for how you'll decorate your dock. I think there's lots and lots of things you could do. Personally, what I've done here is add some of the beachy themed items and some things like barrels and fake art, kind of giving the illusion that maybe sometimes Red decides to dock up here. I could definitely do more with my dock though, so I'm probably going to decorate it, but I really wanted to highlight this because it's an area of most people's islands that I see fairly empty. Of course, you do have to leave room for Cap'n, so you don't have a ton of room to really design things on here. But still, I think this is an area of your island that is well worth designing. It gives a little bit of extra flair to the beach area, something that I know a lot of people struggle with. I do have some more beach ideas coming up in this video though, so stay tuned because I know the beach can be really hard to decorate. Now here's a terraforming idea. I love creating these little islands amongst my rivers. I've got this one created at this very little section above a waterfall, which you could definitely do, but you could also just put this in your river in general. What you need to do is basically create two pieces of land like this and kind of fold them in using the terraforming tool to make something diagonal, and then you would carve out the water around them, I believe. It's kind of tricky to do, you have very limited space to do it, but I've managed to do it around a lot of places on my island. You can do all kinds of things here, like maybe put a bush, some flowers. I like to put little ducks on them because I imagine them nesting on these safe little havens. But there are a ton of different other smaller items that you could put out here, which will just make your rivers a lot more interesting. I always like river terraforming because there's honestly so much you can do with it, so hopefully this idea will be useful on your island. If you're looking to fill a big space on your island that you have no idea what to do with, then might I recommend the castle items. Now you can get these from Nook Shopping and maybe Nook's Cranny, I'm not entirely sure. I think they're mostly from Nook Shopping because how big they are. You might also be able to get them from Happy in Paradise, but these incredibly expensive items are well worth it because they can fill massive gaps on your island. Don't know what to do? Build a castle. That's exactly what I did here. I made the ruins of a castle on my island. I decided to customize them to make them look very ruined and mossy and such, and there are so many different themes you can go with to fit your own island. So if you are struggling to fill out spaces, I highly recommend getting your hands on some of these and using them in a big space. You can also add lots of other items on the inside of them to kind of make it feel like a home in a way. So these items are really cool. Definitely some of my favorites in Animal Crossing history. They are really great. Speaking of the castle items, here's a very small little trick. You can actually put items on top of these castle towers. They have to be very small items, things like gyroids which only take up one tile. What you need to do is face forward and then place your item on top of them. And there you can add a little bit of customization. This is a fancy little trick that honestly not a lot of people know about. It's a very small design idea, I wouldn't say it's anything too exciting, but it adds just a little bit of uniqueness to your island. You're doing something that maybe other people won't see, so I highly recommend doing this with your castle items if you decide to place them. Moving on, I really like to create little areas for some of the visiting special characters who come to my island. For example, Daisy May will give you a ton of different items if you buy turnips from her. Most of these come in the form of DIY recipes, so once you've crafted them, you could create a little sort of stall area for her on your island, and this does apply to some of the other special characters who visit too. Yes, the turnips may be rotting, but I just think this is a fun little way of giving those special characters a unique spot on your island. Now you might know about vines and ladder kits which allow you to quickly traverse up cliffs. These are a great way to add some secret little entrances to parts of your island. They don't stick out too much, so you can add little tiny indicators which maybe hint towards where you want people to go, like I've done, and you can create some really cool places and secret little entrances to parts of your island to make things feel a bit more adventurous. I've done this with Sasha's house, which is right at the back of my island. I've created a little ladder kit which allows you to go down the cliff to where Sasha's house is, kind of carved out right at the back. And I just think this little entranceway makes things feel so much cooler. It's much better than an incline, which honestly takes up a lot of space. I really love what you can do with these vines and ladder kits. As I mentioned, I do have some beach ideas for you. I know the beach can be so difficult to decorate. Well, the yacht item is a fantastic way of filling up a lot of space on your island. Here I have the yacht mixed in with the wheat fields, which kind of look like reeds on the beach, and I've created a little boatyard. You can customize these yachts quite a lot to make them really stand out and each one look unique. It feels a bit more realistic as everyone's got sort of different colored boats and such. I've even got a more rusty one. And the wheat fields just look absolutely fantastic blowing in the wind on your beach, so I highly recommend getting a hold of them. Now the final idea for this video is create yards for your villagers. Again, if you're trying to fill big areas of your island and you don't know what to do, give your villagers their own yard, their own garden. What you can do is kind of either fence off or use the cliffs to create an area in front of or behind their house, which is dedicated just to them. For example, Bob's one here, I've added some playground items as that kind of fits his personality, so you can customize this to each villager that you have. I think this is a really great way of filling space, and it makes your villagers feel a little bit more alive. After all, they all have their own unique personalities and traits and such, and you can really enhance that with your decorating. So let me know some of your Animal Crossing design ideas in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you have to say. If you made it to the end, be sure to comment Bob's Gang so I know you did. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe and turn on notifications for more.